Right, good Erev Shabbos, everybody. Here we are. Already out of mikveh. First mikveh all week, since Sunday, I guess. So not the first one all week, but it's tough living where I live. Not being able to go to mikveh every day until the summer rolls around, then we can go back to normal. And when we go to mikveh, we're remembering what it was like in the Beis Hamikdash, the ancient times, and keep a connection to that. It's the same thing when we go to shul. We're remembering the Beis Hamikdash, remembering the Mishkan. The Nevi'im called a Beis Medrash, Beis Knesses, a shul, a synagogue, a Mikdash Ma'at, a miniature temple. A little bit like the temple. It's the best we can do. So even though we, in the Orthodox synagogues, we don't call our synagogues temples, because we feel that word should be reserved specifically for the Beis Hamikdash, for the Jerusalem temple where we used to bring sacrifices. And we hope to again at some point in the future. This is the whole thing. This is our whole yearning. You know, the Zionim, the Zionists want us to believe that the hope of 2,000 years was just to be a free people in our land. No. Our hope was to restore the temple and to be able to bring sacrifices and restore this mode of worship. And until then, we have an Neshalma farms for Seinu. By the fruit of our lips, it comes in the place of bulls. That our prayers and our study, and particularly learning about the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan, and everything. This week's Parshas Terumah. Also, Mikdash v'Shachanti v'Socha, learning about the Korbanos. We attach ourselves to the spirituality of the Beis Hamikdash. And by all of our devotions, we recognize that it's not like how the Sadducees thought that once the Beis Hamikdash is gone, that's their whole religion. We rabbinical Jews who sit in the seat of Moses, as has been said by one who is not of our own. We have the traditions that go back to the days of Moshe Rabbeinu. We have the authentic traditions. We were able to have a portable Judaism, which really was the same way it existed, at the time of Daniel and so forth. With that portable Judaism, we have to remember that primary message of the temple. And there's this verse that we quoted from Exodus 25 really encapsulates the whole idea. V'asuli mikdash, and make for me a temple, God says. Make for me a sanctuary, a sanctified place. Rashi explains, li lishmi, me for the sake of my name. V'shachanti b'socham, and I will dwell in them, or amongst them, in their midst. the Al-Shech HaKadosh points out, and all the Farshim point out really, that the transference from the singular to the plural here, make me a temple, one temple. V'shechanti b'socham v'lo b'socho. And I will live in them, not I will live in it. And this is something I've spoken about many times, but it's important to discuss. The preeminence and the importance of a Medrash. And this is the way to have God live among us. If our shul is a mikdash ma'at, it's a microcosm of the temple, as the Chezkel Navi said, as Ezekiel said. So then that means that this aspect of the temple should be among us, and among it, one of the biggest problems the Jewish people had throughout the times of the first temple, that was constant, meaning even when we had good righteous kings from the line of David, which was a fluctuation, we'd go back and forth between the good kings and the bad kings. Even most of the best kings had this one problem, that they were still mezabchem al bamis. There were still bamis. There were still the high places, meaning people did not follow the law that said once the temple is built, once you came to the el menucha vel nachla, once you came to the inheritance and the resting place, then after that we were not supposed to be bringing sacrifices anywhere else. Instead, we had people building their own bamos, or maybe there were communal bamos, whatever it was. They were bringing karbanos outside the Beis HaMikdash. It's the same issue that we have, and they were missing out on what they're supposed to get by going to the Beis HaMikdash. And it's the same issue we have today. Where people are uncomfortable going to synagogue, they're lazy, they're looking for convenience, but they still want to pray with a minyan, and so they get their friends together and daven in their home. And it compares it to being makriv karbanos and abama. This farmer Kadeshim, the Chutz Rav, and others, they bring this. It's a big problem. You know, it's one thing a Chassidish Rebbe, he opens a Medrash in his home, and it's a real Medrash where Torah learning is going on. It's a different story. But just for a balabas to you know, get a Sefer Torah and daven in his house, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. You're not doing any mitzvah doing this. It's better to daven by yourself than to do such a thing. It's not hefker. But there's more to it. Like we said, V'asuli mikdash v'shochanti b'socha, make me a temple, I will live in them. Well, that means if we don't have the temple, if we don't have a place to go, then how is God going to live within us? Where are we going to learn? How are we going to have any connection? Alright, so we davened. We heard Kriyas Torah. But you're missing out on this. Asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'socham. Make me a temple, I'll live in them. And the same thing, people who don't have this in their lives, people think they're going to develop some kind of devotion or something. I saw someone, I was in someone's house once, they had a sign, "Nature is my church." Now, it's one thing, you want to talk in other religions. All right, so the Native Americans, they go out in nature and they have their ceremonies, and that's they're going to church. That's their church. That's their temple. That's their ceremony. They're getting something out of it that they can take home with them. But just to say, I think this person's fooling themselves to say that, they got done, what they what are they getting? They just, first of all, the first question is, are they setting aside time, let's say every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock to go for a walk in the woods? Let's say that first. I don't think so. Is that Yiddish a house? That's Aleph, Then Beis, if they're doing that, they're missing out on the fellowship, because B'socham, it's the fellowship of having, other people around, Achim L'Deya. It's not like you think. That's what I have to share. So, I'll tell you something else. Again, if you don't mind, I'll talk about another religion. Billy Graham used to tell, when he'd go make his crusades, he would tell the people there, go to your church. Not go to my church, not open a branch of my church in your town. And the same thing, Let's do things the right way. Let's support our home institutions, our community institutions. Let's do what we're supposed to do. Oh. Thank you for listening. If he could say that, we could say that. All the more so. Let's, we need, though, our, you have a shul in your town. You should daven there. Not go make your own minyan. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a good Shabbos. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. And we'll see you all later. Take care.